Hello and welcome if you're new. This is my channel. I'm Nathalie Saunderson, and today's class is going to do a posture breakdown. And the reason that I like to throw these in on my channel is because rarely in a flow do we have the time to actually take a deeper look at posture. Now, there's a couple of ways to break down postures. We can look at how to get into them, the different variations of a posture, because there usually are many depending on the style of yoga that you're doing. But this is a posture breakdown in terms of a generic look at crow pose, bakasana, and a couple of very key essential elements of the posture of the body that can help assist you to have a very different experience of crow. So let's look at it for a moment. So the first thing that comes to mind when I see people try and struggle into crow is like the stepping block, the first stepping stone into the world of arm balances. And obviously, what most people assume is that arm balances are all about being strong. And to some degree, you do need to have a certain amount of strength, but it's actually more about the alignment and how open your chest is and how mobile your shoulder girdle is to allow you to get into these kind of more advanced shapes with your upper body. And so when I think about watching people struggle with crow, the first thing I'm going to probably assume is that they're up here, shoulders are over here, and their elbows are out here. Okay, so because it's the foundation of the pose, just like we would break down from the ground up in standing postures, this has to happen, this hugging in of the arms. This has to happen so that when you bring your arms forward, your shoulders stay down versus up near your ears. Okay? Hugging in, elbows in, pushing the insides of your hands forward, and shoulders down is the first cue. Okay? So we're going to try it in a second. I'm going to show you two ways to step into it. The second one is that if you take your index finger and you poke your belly button, you're going to round, okay? So this rounding from the side, if you try and recreate this shape, you can see that the shoulder goes forward. Now, can you add that first cue, which was to hug the elbows in, push the index fingers forward, but slide the shoulders down, pull the belly in, and now take your sternum forward slightly. So the cue is, if you stay here, you're going to put a lot of weight and dump the weight forward in your shoulder. You still want to protect your shoulders while you're drawing almost like a drawstring in and up through the core. Between the pubic bone and the navel is really where you want to feel this lift. Okay? The last part that I see almost 90% of the time is that the feet have to be super awake. Okay, so if you're trying to lift your leg and the foot is limp, the leg is not actively charging to assist you in pulling the energy up for you into the leg itself, into the hip socket. So active feet, drawing in, shoulders down, and pulling the belly button back and up without rounding your back, right? Rounding your back, but keeping your shoulders back and down. Now I'm going to show you the difference from what I see, and then we're going to do the adjustments so you can see the difference. I'm going to start from the side. So normally, also really important, you want your hands no wider than the distance of your shoulders. So let's set our hands up. It's very easy to let the elbows slide out when you're in this shape. So I'm going to do it the way that I suggested not to, and then show you the difference. So if you're going out, first of all, your knees need to go wider, which means you're kind of already making this heavier and harder. And when you round, if the shoulders are up near the ears, there's a lot of tension already building before I've even tried to lift my not very awake feet, okay? Now I'm relying on upper body strength, okay? Now I'm relying on my arms to hold me there. If you go into it with more awareness in the inner hands, the base of the thumb and the index, you pull your elbows down, you roll your shoulders back, and you lift from your tiptoes. Now let's take the belly up, bending the elbows down, belly up, shoulders down the back. See the difference? So it's not here, shoulders down. Now another cue is to look forward, okay?
Belly up, belly up. Let's try just lifting one foot. Now I'm going to stay here, spread my toes so wide that it doesn't really require that much effort to lift the other one because my feet are active. I'm going to keep looking forward, play with lifting this, switching feet, and then I'm going to lower down. I'm going to take a rest and take a big roll through my shoulders, back and down. So another piece that I'm going to drop in for you to consider is that it's very difficult to get into crow pose if you're tight in the front of your hip. Why? Because your legs, if they can't come up high enough, they're going to be stuck here, which makes the whole shape longer. If your hips are too tight, your shape's going to be kind of spread out. If your hip is open, you can tuck up a little bit smaller. The second variation that you can play with, if you feel like you're close but you have a hard time getting those feet off the ground, is to lift the feet higher. Okay, so now I'm going to put something, doesn't need to be a yoga block if you don't have a home yoga space. You're going to step on top of the block and sink down. Now you can see that my pelvis lets me go quite far down. For some people you might only be here, that's okay. You're going to take your hands as wide as your shoulders, prepare the upper body. Again, get those shoulders back, push down, neck is long. Then I'm going to start to lift my hips, pull that low belly in, knees as high as I can go on my arms, look forward. Lift one set of toes, sparkle them a little wider. Lift the other set of toes. So you can see that my toes are also together. My elbows aren't going wide, and I can pull my belly up. I'm still breathing, I pull my heels up. Now I can feel on one side that my hip's a bit tighter, so I'm going to breathe and press down through that hand a little more firmly. Big breath in, coming out with just as much control, and lowering down onto your knees. Hands onto your thighs, big breath in, out your mouth. It's nice if you are practicing your crow at home to press your fingers back and open up through the palm of the hand. Let's inhale together. Exhale out. Inhale. Exhale. Switch sides. Open the other hand from thumb to pinky finger. Breathe up the forearm. Inhale. Exhale. Big breath in and out. Good. Now you can see the difference in your crow pose when you're really committed to keeping the shoulders down your back and the elbows hugging in. Pulling and scooping that low belly in without letting it pull down the top of your spine. Waking up your feet and then extending your gaze slightly forward. Try all these little points and see if they work for your body. Always remember that any video that I do, I'm offering these tips. I can't see how you're built, so please only keep these suggestions if they work for your practice and your mat. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure that you do, and I'll see you in the next video.